We've seen that before, but for the first time in this tournament, Hardik Pandya and Kieron Pollard are doing what they've built a reputation of in the Indian Premier League, and they've taken Mumbai to a very decent 191 for 4 after things didn't quite start as well for Rohit Sharma's side. Should make for a very interesting conversation at halftime on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout, powered by Dell. Many bowlers have faced the rear end carnage of Pollard and Pandya. Gautam Gambhir has been in the opposing team as captain when he's played Mumbai. Tom Moody has planned with bowlers at the Sunrisers Hyderabad when Mumbai Indians come with Pollard and Pandya. Let's ask them if they could have stopped what the Kings 11 couldn't. Tom, 191, good runs those?
Huge runs, particularly given the position they're in, around that sort of 12th to 13th, 14th over mark. Kings 11 will be very, very disappointed with the outcome there. Mumbai, obviously, on the other side, will be certainly thrilled that their formula that they stick with and have stuck with for a long time is continuing to pay dividends.
Yeah, it's such an interesting one, Gautam. First game, just when Hardik Pandya and Kieron Pollard come together, if they get out early, the entire innings looks flat. And then when they tee off, it just is the other extreme. What do you make of that score, 191? Mumbai on top?
Oh, absolutely. And you got to give it to Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan as well. The way they had built that inning and platform for both Kieron Pollard and Hardik Pandya. Probably these two guys, I don't think so they can actually anchor the inning, but Rohit Sharma, the way he batted, and even Ishan Kishan batted. So I think we keep talking about, yes, what Hardik Pandya and Pollard can do, but then the platform was set by actually Rohit and Ishan Kishan. Again, I think the same problem what we've been talking about, Kings 11. I think this is the fourth game, and we've seen it in every game, that the biggest issue has always been the death bowling.
Yeah, let's talk about that then. 67 to 23, and yes, we will give a good amount of time to Rohit Sharma in that phase where they recovered from 21 for 2, Rohit and Ishan Kishan putting a partnership together. But this partnership, 67 of 23 balls, Tom, that they put up, clearly tactics changed for Kings 11 Punjab. They bowled out Sheldon Cottrell in the 13th over. They didn't want him to take death over responsibility. They gave it to Jimmy Neesham. And now after we look at Jimmy Neesham 2 overs and K. Gautam to bowl the 20th, is that, in hindsight at least, some miscalculation from Punjab?
Yeah, look, absolutely. What I find intriguing is the fact that they've actually got a death specialist bowler in the dugout in Chris Jordan. And they used him early in the tournament. He had one bad over. And I just think you can't judge any quality player after 1 or 2 games. I think, you've got to trust your instinct. You bought him out of the auction for that specific role. He's a specific death bowler. He does it for England, and he has done it successfully for England over the last few years. This is clearly a gaping hole for Kings 11, and they've got to somehow find a way to fill that hole, and their answer is sitting in the dugout. We talked in the pre-game show about Mujib and the opportunity for Mujib to play. Look, he's also a very interesting conversation because we both sort of all felt that that he should be in the playing 11. But what is the highest need for Kings 11 at the moment? Is it that sort of mystery spin, or is it someone that can bowl at the end of the innings to be able to stop this carnage which is happening at the moment?
I guess 2 questions come from here, Gautam. One, what Tom points out, Chris Jordan went for 56 in that game against Delhi and was dropped for the next game. They brought in Jimmy Neesham. Now, in the last game, you had Cottrell bowl at the end. He had a 30-run over. So your idea is either I bowl Cottrell again and see if it's different from Sharjah, or I give it to Jimmy Neesham, or should it have been, like Tom says, play the specialist bowler that you got for these situations? What do you make of Punjab's decision-making?
Look, Chris Jordan, you can't judge someone by just one bad game. And at the same time, you've bought Sheldon Cottrell for 8.5 CR. And obviously, you expect him to bowl with the new ball and actually expect him to bowl in the death as well. Yes, he's gone for a lot of runs in Sharjah. Obviously, that was a smaller ground, flatter wicket. But you got to back your main bowler. And your main bowler in this lineup is Mohammad Shami and Sheldon Cottrell. If you've picked these 5 bowlers, you can't expect your off spinner against Hardik Pandya and Kieron Pollard to be bowling the last over. See, you finished Sheldon Cottrell by 13th over. That is probably the easiest over. Probably that phase is the easiest phase actually to bowl. And your premium bowler actually has finished it off. So you've given it to someone who's making a comeback, who's only played 1 game and bowling the 20th over. That also against 2 of the power hitters. And there is hardly any margin for error. Yes, I have to agree with Tom that your answer for death bowling is actually sitting in the dugout. You've picked him purposely for death bowling or as a death bowling option, and you've only after one bad game have actually made him sit in the dugout. So you got to plan better. This is not the bowling attack which can actually, even to be honest, defend 190.
The other thing with this, Tom, is with due respect to Jimmy Neesham, if you had to pick a type of bowler to bowl to Pollard and Pandey, which is what you'd plan to do when you play Mumbai, you'd pick one with pace. And barring Mohammad Shami, there's not much pace in this attack, is there?
No, there's not. You're right. If you're looking to, I suppose, go the attacking option, you go mystery spin or you go genuine pace against the likes of Pollard. Jimmy Neesham is, a good all-rounder, but he's not in your caliber of your Andre Russell type all-rounder. He'll come in and he'll do a reasonably good job with the bat, but he's more than likely going to bat 7. So again, how many balls is he going to face? Is he going to really have an impact with the bat? With the ball, he's the 5th bowler. And even if you watch Jimmy Neesham when he plays for New Zealand or another franchise cricket around the world, he rarely finishes his 4 overs. He's really your 6th bowler. So is that the fit you need in your side when you're already showing signs of weakness with your bowling attack, is having that type of all-rounder that doesn't give you that certainty of 4 overs?
And just before, yes, Gautam, please.
Just want to add that at the moment, the situation what Kings 11 is in is just hit and trial. That can someone give me 1 over? Can some other guy give me 1 over? Because I'm absolutely not sure. Because Mohammad Shami, yes, he's been the best death bowler, but he's actually not the best of death bowlers either. So you have to back. Apart from that, it's like, can Jimmy Neesham deliver it for me? Can K. Gautam do it for me? Can Sheldon Cottrell do it for me? So the plans are not there. They're not sure about who's going to be the death bowlers. So that is where the problem is. We talk about we need to have 1 or 2 or 3 options in the death, but at the moment, Kings 11 has not even a single option in the death.
Right. Just before we move to Mumbai's batting, to close this conversation on Punjab's bowlers, when Gautam comes in the 20th over, you're dreading it. You're looking at the scorecard and you know that you've got to get 1 over off spin out. It happens to be the 20th. Now, do you sympathize that they went all out and tried to get Pollard and Pandya and it didn't happen, so you had to bowl the off spinner last over? Or is it poor tactics, poor captaincy that you couldn't finish Gautam off a little earlier when you could? Gautam?
Look, for me, I think finishing off Sheldon Cottrell by the 13th over was a huge mistake. I know they were trying to actually not give him the death bowling because whatever happened in the previous game. But again, do you back Sheldon Cottrell to do it in the death, or you back K. Gautam to deliver in the death? I think I would any day go for Sheldon Cottrell because he's my premier fast bowler. And at the moment, yes, you were trying to get Hardik Pandya or Pollard out. If you would have even got one guy out, if Hardik Pandya would have been there or Pollard would have been there, I think the damage was done, because unless and until both the guys would have got out and then K. Gautam would have been bowling, would have probably saved him by going for so many runs. But I thought it was a mistake because they were just trying to actually defend, or they were just trying to secure someone like Sheldon Cottrell.
All right, let's talk about Mumbai's batting now. Credit to Mumbai to at least maximize on the mistakes that you can call them now that Punjab made. And Pollard got a promotion today. Tom came in a bit earlier. We saw the best of Pollard. We also saw the best of Hardik Pandya, as it turned out. So the demotion in the batting order perhaps charged Hardik Pandya to show up in this year's tournament as well.
Yeah, I think the partnership between Rohit Sharma and Ishan Kishan allowed the change in the batting order, and it made absolute sense that Pollard and Hardik Pandya came in earlier, because there was they're running out of balls to have the impact that we know that they can have. So really, I agree with Gautam in that that partnership, you can't underestimate it. We know that Ishan Kishan didn't have the fluency in his game like we saw in the previous game where he scored 90 odd, but that happens sometimes when you're batting. You just lose a little bit of rhythm. But what I liked and admired about his innings, and Rohit Sharma played a role in this, was that he persevered, even though it was an ugly 28 off 30 balls. But it wasn't so much his individual contribution, it was the partnership and the contribution the partnership gave to the team. And that just allowed the perfect platform for Pollard to go out there and play with the freedom, knowing that his side had a very, very strong base to work from.
Yeah, that's the innings that we're going to highlight now, Gautam. Rohit Sharma 70, and that partnership that Tom points out, 62 of 56. The more important aspect of that innings came at that point, didn't it?
Oh, very important. Yeah, we
Yeah.
keep talking about the end, we keep talking about the finish, the Pollards and the Pandyas, but Ishan Kishan actually played a very important role in that partnership. They were 20 odd for two, and probably had Pollard or Pandya had to come by the seventh or the eighth over, it would have been actually difficult for Mumbai Indians to have that platform because those guys will only play one way. And I was very, very impressed with a young leg spinner, Ravi Bishnoi, the way he bowled against Ishan Kishan and even Rohit Sharma, because a young boy bowling was so impressive against Rohit Sharma. Yes, Rohit Sharma played a very good knock, but then I thought that from the overall point of view, I think it was a very good, very fascinating kind of a partnership. Plus, there was a fascinating display of leg spin as well in the middle.
Yeah, let's try and break that down. You'll have high words of praise for Ishan Kishan, and if you look at the scorecard, you think, oh no, is this the kind of innings that comes under scrutiny? 32 of 20, 32 balls and 28 runs. It's the sort of innings that we've discussed. Batsmen getting stuck, and how can they get out of it? So as you looked at that, Tom, this is a guy who hit 99 in the last game. He's trying to hit almost every ball, but it's not working. He's eventually gotten out for a striker of less than 100. But how would you look at that innings in terms of what it did for Mumbai and set their platform?
Yeah, the innings actually looks, and that partnership looks critical in the whole journey of their batting performance. That's Mumbai Indians, purely because they had the hitting power and impact at the back end of the innings that came good for them. So that elevates and I suppose highlights that individual performance from Ishan Kishan and Rohit Sharma, but also that partnership. So I think you can never underestimate partnerships in T20 cricket or any form of the game for that matter. But just those partnerships are really important building blocks for you to have a considerable impact as a team collectively on the scoreboard. And look, Mumbai Indians blew it out the water. Ending up with the total that they ended up with. And that was just through some extraordinary power hitting from Pollard at the end.
Right. As Kings 11 Punjab's batsmen already take the field, let's reignite the conversation. Trent Bolt has the new ball now. I think, Gautam, you'd like to see Bumrah take it from the other end, or at least get one over as soon as possible.
No, absolutely. You should be starting with Trent Bolt, and now they've got runs to bowl at. So why not just try with Jasprit Bumrah and see what Jasprit Bumrah can do with the new ball, and then what Pat Cummins can do actually with the semi-new ball, or probably even in the death. You've got to try and have more options.
Mumbai significantly ahead, or is 190 still gettable, Tom?
I think I'd rather be in Mumbai's shoes than Kings 11. But as we've seen, not only just in this tournament so far, but just over the years in T20 cricket, you can never, ever write off an opponent. Kings 11 have got some match winners. They've got some serious players. We know that opening partnership of KL Rahul and Mayank Agarwal. You can guarantee that they're going to build a solid base for the likes of Maxwell Paran to come in and do their stuff.
All right. Both in form as well. Gautam, you'd go with that? Mumbai, the favourites at halftime?
At the moment, yes, with the kind of bowling attack they've got. But then anything can happen because they've got a lot of firepower, Kings 11.
All right, let's see how things go. Gautam Gambhir, thank you very much. Tom Moody, thank you as well. Get your thoughts at the end of the game on Whirlpool Presents ESPN Cricket for T20 Timeout. Powered by Dell. Kings 11 Punjab have their work cut out against a strong Mumbai attack. They need 192 to win.